All right. Welcome to another Hustlers Kung Fu live stream. This is what I want you to do. First of all, my name is Glendon Cameron. I'm your hustling godfather. And what we do here is we teach people how to start, manage, and scale businesses. And if this is your first time here, what I want you to do is go to the front of the channel and start watching playlist. There's over 2,000 videos on this channel to help you make money and have a better financial life. So with that, we're about to get into we're gonna cook with some gas today. We're gonna cook with gas today. We're about to get into it because one of the things that so many people are looking to do, and hold on a second. Let me get some more people in the room. Give me a second. Hopefully, everyone is having a good day. I'm about to drop some truths about money. I'm about to tell you what the real deal is. And I'm going to start off with a story. I had somebody who was taking some of my court. Well, that would be a mistake. I'll get to that point in a minute. I had someone email me and they're like really ready to start their business. They're really ready to go and they feel that I am slowing them down. So I go into their dashboard and see that they have taken none of the courses that are there are available. They're waiting on other courses. Now, where we're going with this, the money management course is a foundational course for your financial future. I am taking a YouTube course, and one of the things that they're talking about is being very specific about the foundation. Let me go ahead and drop some truths to you. If you have bad money management habits, which most Americans do, even if you made more money, you're still going to struggle. There are people out there who've made millions of dollars, NFL players, NBA players, actresses, rappers, who are living in a trailer right now because they didn't know how to manage money. I'm gonna say it once. I'm gonna say it again. I've said it several. I said it once. I'm gonna say it several times. Manage your money, or your six figures who are struggling because they have bad financial habits. When I was in the storage auction business, I saw units go up of people who had profitable businesses, but their spending was out of control. They were spending money like crackheads. They were doing everything, they were doing all these things wrong. So, one of the things that happens with this person who feels that I'm holding them back, because I'm going to email them. I was like, you haven't even taken the financial money management. You cannot tell me without a doubt that you're managing your money to the best of your ability. This is, I know that most Americans don't manage their money well. Most Americans are not on the 5 checking account system. Most Americans are spending money, blowing money fast, and they're struggling. Most Americans want a sugar daddy, so they can go out and spend money any way they want to and then go, Daddy, Daddy, can I have some more money, Daddy? Daddy. They're waiting on this mythical fairy sugar daddy. They want a real Housewives of Atlanta lifestyle where you just sit around, drink martinis, wear dresses and high heels, look good all the time, and don't do no work. But magically, money appears out of nowhere. Manage your money, or your money's going to manage you. There ain't no sugar daddy. There ain't nobody coming to save you. And if you enter into my programs, and I got an announcement about that in a minute, and you don't take the money, you know, a lot of people, this was one of the biggest problems I had with Hustlers Kung Fu was people skipping over foundational courses. Like, I don't need that. I don't need the course learning how to be the boss. I don't need that course. I don't need 30 days to 2,500. I don't need that course. I'm good. Let me tell you something. What's going to happen if you get a cake recipe and you go ahead and he's like, I'm not going to follow this recipe. You mix up the batter, you put the oil in, you leave the butter, the eggs out, and you bake the cake. Then you want to add the butter and the eggs after you've baked the cake. You're going to create a mess. The way that these courses are designed for you to follow the sequence, and I don't need to do that because I'm good. Success, the things that make you successful aren't sexy. It's like eating vegetables. Like people who walk around with 6 packs all year long, they eat a certain kind of diet all year long. They're not eating bread. They're careful on the carbs. To look like that, to be sexy, the process of being sexy ain't sexy. It ain't sexy at all. And I got people taking these courses and skipping over foundational stuff, not going through the courses, and then emailing me like, Glendon, you know, took your classes. I love your YouTube channel, man, but it ain't working for me because you ain't doing the work. I'm all up in my feelings. I work hard on these courses. I want you to be successful. But if you don't take the course, if you skip over it because this person was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to start my business. I'm ready to start my business. And didn't even take the money management course. Big zero by the course progress numbers. Big zero. So let me go ahead. Who you want to. I know you feel that I'm good. I don't need to do that. Let me go ahead and tell you a story. Because I was in that boarding house for one fundamental reason. I didn't save money. I did not prepare for a rainy day. I can say what I want about my ex-wife, but the onus falls upon me for not being prepared. When I was in that boarding house, I did a lot of learning and a lot of, I did the foundational work. I didn't just go off and start a business. I got higher paying jobs that each job successfully gave me the skills I needed to start my business. I did not leap over from the boarding house to running my own business. That's your ego. Shut your ego up. Slap your ego down. Because if you were that smart, you would be a millionaire already, which means you ain't that smart. Where are your millions? Where your big ass house? Where your fancy cars? It ain't a dig. I'm trying to give you the truth so you will get out of your ego, get out of your feelings, and do the foundational work that is required to be successful. No more skipping over stuff and emailing me like, hey, Glendon, I'm waiting on this. You got information already there that's going to take you weeks to accomplish once you get started and working on it. You don't be skipping over courses. And this burns my bridges because a lot of people, and this is a big American problem, ego. Well, I'm the best version of myself. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Where are your results, Mr. Smarty Pants, Miss Smarty Pants? Where are your results if you're so smart? Where are your results? I don't see no results, which means you fooling yourself. Because I'm going to write a very strong email back to this person, and I don't care if I lose them as a customer, because this is ridiculous. You got to do the foundational work. This is one of the things that I'll talk about. This is why the money management course is there. It is to prepare you to optimize the current money you have, to use the money you currently have as efficiently as possible. So when more money comes in, you can see it stack up. But once again, since so many people have crackhead spending habits and don't know how to save money, let me tell you something. Because I went through the process of having a business and I knew how to do accounting and I knew how to segment money. When my book sales took off, I did not change my lifestyle. You want to know why? I didn't know how long it was going to last. I was like, man, that's a lot of money coming in. You know, those years, I lived on around $3,000 a month. I did not change my monthly spend because my income went up, because I didn't know how long it was going to last. And it lasted 3.5 years. And then when it got turned off, it was like someone was turning the faucet off and the water stopped flowing. It was just like, one month I got one good check. Next month it was cut in half. Next month it was nothing. It was still like about $4,000 or $5,000. But when you go from $120,000 to $4,000, you're like, whoa, that's a big drop off. I knew the storage auction craze was over. But because I did not adjust my spending, I didn't go out and buy a Lambo. I didn't go out and buy a mansion. I did not drastically increase my lifestyle. I recently increased my lifestyle to about $7,000 a month after I built a better business model. But now all that money coming in, I didn't spend my money like a crackhead. I wasn't taking Big Booty Betty out to Olive Garden to what is it? What's the steak place? The fancy steak restaurant. I wasn't taking Big Booty Betty out. I was like being efficient. I was making money and I was getting trim for free because I understood how money works. Understood the power of money, understood the segmentation of money, understood the power of saving money, understood the power of putting money aside, which is why I have a fat savings account. If you don't have a fat savings account, don't email me talking about like I'm ready to start my business. You're already abusing the money that you have coming in. You're not making better choices. If you're financing a car, you are not optimizing your finances. If you carry credit card debt, you're not optimizing your finances. If you are barely paying your mortgage, you're not optimizing your finances. Tell it to someone who's unschooled in the art of making money, handling money, and investing money. This is why I get to dress like this, because I know how money works. This is why I don't have to go to fancy business meetings. This is why I don't have to wear a suit, because I know how money works. So if you're taking the courses, go through all of the courses, because getting sexy ain't sexy. Sometimes your head's gonna hurt. You go like, man, I gotta watch this video. You may tune it out and you may have to go back and watch it again. I am giving you the foundational principles to be successful. And it ain't none of this internet crap like, well, I'm going to work hard versus, I'm going to work smart versus working hard. No, sometimes you got to work as hard as you humanly can to move the needle. That's what you got to do. A lot of y'all are just lazy, just point blank lazy. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. Get out your feelings. Men of purpose make moves regardless of their feelings. There was days I didn't feel like doing YouTube videos. There was days I didn't feel like writing that book. There was days I didn't feel like creating courses. But you know what? I pushed through regardless of my damn feelings because I'm a man. I'm a successful person. Successful people put in the work regardless of how they feel. If you all up in your feelings, you feminine as you want to be. A woman can have a dream that you were cheating on her and be mad at you at the dream that was in her own mind. That's feminine thought. That's feminine nature. Because women are all up in their feelings. So if you're a man and you and your feeling, I don't feel like doing this course. I don't feel like reading this book. I don't feel like putting in this work. You're not going to be successful. It ain't going to happen. So let me get in here. Let's see what's going on in the comments. I had to get that off my chest. What's up, people? Ben the bartender. I know, man. I know. Fajita, I don't manage my money to the penny because I have excess, but essentially I know where all my money goes, down to the penny. Blind and money management skills is the poorest. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Malika. Honey Bunny, that's something that I should put in. Thank you, Tracy. Malika, he got me already, cuz until my first girlfriend started baking, I didn't even know you had to leave those ingredients out. Pretty much, Black Caesar. Well, Sierra, I mean, I got to give it, I had to get this off my chest. That's a good deal, Black Perseus. Passive wealth, 4K down on a house has turned to 50K in 5 years, 20K down on the 55 now 55K house now worth 84 has turned into 20K down payment to 40K. Have 3-bedroom house with a friend and rent out all the extra rooms to live. Making money. Making money. Roof Chris. Thank you, Steve Jamerson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's funny, Sierra. Rod for real estate. They don't realize it's uncomfortable to level up. Hard work and risk will be needed by everyone. Yeah, you goals don't care about how you feel. You got to grind, right, Ben Bartender? Leo Die, that's good. That's good. Dynamis, yeah. Oh, you saw that in the because I changed that because I'll talk about that in a minute. Pretty much, Goddess Noel. Malika Harris also update after taking 5 checking account course. I finished paying off my car that was 13 years. Still got money left over. Starting to teach programming and security for my service jobs. Stack in 2020. Congratulations, Malika. Hey man, it was just because one of the things is with this is you get people who are skipping around because this person did not take the money management course, which is a prerequisite. I know from experience, I know from buying storage units of business owners who mismanaged their money. They were making plenty of money, but they were mismanaging it. This is one of the things that, because there ain't no sugar daddy coming to save you. And people want to do what they want to do. They don't do what they should do. Like, myself is guilty. I weighed like 280, 290 pounds. And after the heart attack, I lost like 40 pounds in the hospital. It just fell off and I haven't gained it back. So I wasn't eating right. That's why I was fat. You ain't spending money right. That's why you poor. These be facts. And one of the things is that, someone talked about the combo deal. What I'm getting ready to do, because you need the foundational stuff first. Let's go back to basketball. How many of you remember when Michigan had the Fab Five and they lost to Duke? If the Michigan Fab Five were fundamentally schooled in basketball because they had raw, pure athletic talent, they were crazy talented, but they were undisciplined. If the Fab Five were disciplined, there would have been 4 national championship rings and statues up in Michigan when they were there. And they lost to Duke, a team with less talent, but the Duke players were fundamentally sound in the game of basketball. Fundamentals. If you have someone who's, crazy talented goes against someone who's fundamentally sound, more often than not, the fundamentally sound people are going to win. And that's why you got to get these basics. Honey Bunny, that's deep. James Sam, they would have killed Duke, but they were undisciplined. They were reckless. They didn't know the rules. Chris Webber tried to call a timeout after they were timeout. They had no timeouts. They didn't know the game from a fundamental sound. Any money. I was using pawn shops. I titled pawn, payday loans, borrowed money from people. I was making all of these bad financial decisions, living a financially reckless life. Then I got in that boarding house because I was living a financially reckless life. I had no savings account. I had no money set aside. I had no reserves. Then I got in that boarding house and I started, after, I was feeling sorry for myself. I was a bum probably first year and a half in that boarding house because I was just like, my mind was blown. How did I end up here? I'm not like these people in the West End. I don't do drugs. I don't do crack. I'm not one of these people, but pain. And then I put myself in places where I can learn from people who knew better. When I was in business environments, and I realized, I was like, I remember Jim was like, yeah, I just got this new Benz this weekend, wrote him a check. I was like, you pay cash for your car? He's like, yeah, I pay cash for all my cars. And Jason was like, yeah, me too. Jason had that Acura NSX. And then, the owner comes in and he's like, yeah, I pay cash for my Range Rover. They all pay cash for their cars. And they were all wealthy. And I was like, next car I get, I'm going to pay cash too. And I walked away. And a few months later, I paid cash for that BMW. When you're in an environment where people are doing better than you, it encourages you to level up. Yep. Superstars. Now they're super team. That's why Tim Duncan was a great player. Floyd Money Mayweather is fundamentally sound. He's a boxing technician. He's on his game. That's why no one can beat him. Thank you, James Sammons, for the $5 super chat. The name is Hard Work and Discipline Beats Raw Talent Every Day. For people who are coming into the new course, I'm combining Hustlers Kung Fu with B School for Hustlers, because there are courses over there that are complete that you can start taking and making you money while I build out B School, because I made it fundamentally clear. I was building out B School for Hustlers. It would take a few months. And, I was watching something by Kevin Samuels, and he said something that resonated really, really deeply into this conversation. And it was almost like he was a soothsayer, because he was just talking about certain people he don't work with and why. And I'm like, boom, here it is. Here it is. Because one of the things is, here's the truth about money. And also, let me go ahead and get y'all on the Savage Finance tip. All right. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification on Savage Finance, and watch all the videos that are there. Because I want you guys to be successful. And I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what happened to me and how I became successful. Number one, I got a better job. Some of you may need to do that. You may need to get yourself enough skill sets where you can get a better job, because I was working crappy jobs from the labor pool, minimum wage jobs. I remember when I started making $10 an hour, I was like, woo, this is great. $10 an hour in the 90s, that was okay. It wasn't baller money, but it was okay. And right now you still got people making 10, $11 an hour. And with inflation, that's like they're making $6 an hour. Then I went from one better job to a better paying job, natural grooming process to business ownership. There's a lot of people who ego like, I can quit my job and start this business. You don't know how to run payroll. You don't know how to put your LLC together. You don't know how to create a marketing plan. You don't know none of this stuff. But because of your ego, you gonna quit your job, have no money saved, and think you gonna make it. Then one day when you look in your checking account and it's a negative draft because you're overdrawn, you have no money coming in, you got to go crawling back to a job. And it don't feel good. It don't feel good at all. Your self-esteem takes it on the chin. And like, I gotta get a job because I gotta get some money. I gotta support myself. And I've seen many entrepreneurs do this. This is the key. You skill up on the job, you get a higher paying job. Because when I left business environments, I had over $200,000 in my savings account. I did not go out here trying to start a business with no money. I had attitude money. And once I left business environments, I've not had a job since. I never had to go back to a job because I had a financial safety net in case my business didn't work out. I was like, I had enough money to do something else. Because, the first year I did over $1 million in commercial office furniture sales, but because I made so many mistakes, there was only like a $35,000 profit. $35,000. And I remember, hey, how did I start this company? I was selling used stuff. There was a lot of money in the used stuff. So I went to the newspapers like, hey, how can I get a bunch of used stuff? And that's what led me to storage auctions, which I did almost a decade. Buying used stuff, flipping it on eBay, flipping it on Amazon, flipping it on Craigslist, had a weekend store, the upscale garage sale, flipping stuff that we could not put on these internet sites, and was making good money, which prepared me for my online business because I knew that I had to market. I was like, to get the stuff selling, I had to market. I had to put it in the right place. I knew that going in. Plus, I had like 300K in the bank. So not once did I start these businesses on dreams, whims, or fumes. I wasn't walking around desperate. I was able to work hard, 100% on my business, write my books and stuff, work on the YouTube channel for 6 months without getting paid. That's what you have to do. This is, being successful is a process. It ain't no overnight stuff. There ain't no sugar daddies. Because I listen to some of these people who take my online course, you'll be making $10,000 within 3 months. Do you know that for the average American, 10,000 is 3 to 4 times what they were making on that job? That's life-changing money. $10,000 a month for the average American is life-changing money. But once again, since I tell you guys the truth, you go ahead and start a business, a platform-based business like Shopify or something. Like, this is what happened. Like, remember Alex Becker used to run all these Shopify ads? He stopped. Why did Alex stop running these Shopify ads? Because they stopped working. Facebook changed the algorithm. Facebook changed how the ads work. Wasn't as profitable as anymore. The market dried up. I started with no money. All this stuff is self-built, but there's levels to this. This is why I never tell you to quit your job. Take my course, quit your job. That's foolishness, because I have built businesses from scratch and I know how hard it is. And you need to keep your job. And when you get off from your job, work on your business. Work on your business harder than you work your job. And in time, your business will get to a point where it can support you and you can quit that job. But Ralph the Ref, no, you ain't quitting your job. I didn't quit my job. Actually, I had I got 3 jobs before I got into my own business. I didn't quit my job. Why, with Hustlers Kung Fu, I have mentally becoming the boss, because, I was still calculating how much money I made on a 160-hour month, on the 40-hour week. And then one day I was like, this is foolishness. You make money 7 days a week. You make money while you're sleeping. Why are you doing this foolish stuff? It took me a minute to adapt to making money, to running a business. Yeah, Becker's he's an interesting one. So one of the things I want you guys to understand, that there's not groomed or acclimated to be a business owner just yet. There's levels to this. This is why the first step is managing your money, or your money's going to manage you. Many people think the problem is low income. That could be a problem, but the worst problem is the mismanagement of money. You got these be facts, but people like, damn the facts. I'm gonna go out here and get me this old school Benz. And then the first time it breaks down, and you're looking at that $3,500 repair bill, next thing you know, this Benz is parked somewhere because you don't have enough money to get it fixed. Because the Benz is parked in front of your ghetto apartment. Because driving a nice car, something that you actually spend more time in your house or apartment than you do in your car. Why would your car be nicer than the place you live? That makes no sense. I see it all the time in the lower social economic. Like all these kids on YouTube who are buying these Dodge Hellcats and living in shacks. This one kid, he bought a Hellcat, and he went past the house and it looked like he was in rural America. And it was like, you should take that money and get you a rental property, because I think the car was $108,000 where he is. That would buy him a piece of real estate. But once again, bad financial habits. Extraordinary money. What about the guy that became a billionaire in 1 year? He didn't have to wait. Please send me resources on that, because I don't believe that. I think that's one of the internet fables. There's only 2,600 billionaires in the world, and the majority of them are old. There's very few young billionaires. One of them would be the guy who owns Tesla. He's one of the young ones. The guy who owns Uber, he's one of the young ones. There are very few young, like I just don't believe someone became a billionaire in 1 year from nothing. I don't believe that. Lifma, do you feel like Shopify will still work? If you know how to run ads, yeah, it still works. Sell the bins for parts on Craigslist. Misfinance, there are people making $150 a year that still living paycheck to paycheck. Amen, amen. You making $150,000 a year and your car is financed, you have credit card debt, and you have student loan debt. You're not optimizing your money. I've said this years ago, and I'm going to say it again today. If you're making six figures, you shouldn't have a car note. You make more than enough money to save up, $20,000, $30,000 to pay cash for a car. In 1 year. You could do that in 1 year. It makes no sense, because my ex, this was one of the problems we had, because, I'll spill a little tea. I paid all the bills, but I said, this is what I want you to do. In case I ever need it, I want you to put $1,500 a month away. She was making $130,000 a year. That she could never do it. She's like, well, I got to pay some credit card bills. I got student loans. Like, she makes, I would say she's probably $80,000 to $90,000 in debt right now, between the car, the loans, and everything. And she would not listen to me. She would not watch these videos. And she just kept doing financially dumb shit. She's the average American. It's like, I got to keep my credit score high. Why do you have to keep your credit score high? People are obsessed with having a high credit score at all times. That's vanity. People are so stupid that every time they have this question on Facebook, would you rather have $1 million cash or an 800 credit score? And people are like, I'll take the 800 credit score. Guess what? Unless you have high income, you cannot maximize that 800 credit score. There's something called a credit threshold based upon your income. So let's say you got an 800 credit score, but you only make $35,000 a year. You're not going to get baller credit cards. You're not going to get $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 limits, because your income's too low. Someone with a credit score of 680 but makes $250K is going to get higher credit card limits than you. You have an 800 credit score. There's something called the ability to repay. They look at that now. And when this new FICO comes in, it's going to lower a lot of these people walking around like, I got 750 FICO score. But I'm financing a car. I have no money in the bank. I don't even know how to make money, but I got a 750 credit score and some debt. Stupid. If you're making money, this is some that's funny. When I was selling BMWs, all the people with the high beacon scores, as it was called back then, were old and rich. They came in, one guy I remember, he came in, he got a BMW for him and one for his daughter. He put down half of the money. He paid off her car and he put down half the money on his. And I remember he paid it off in like 6 or 7 months. That's how rich people roll. That's how people with money act. Kevin Davis, yes, when you have your own business, you're actually creating value. Yes, the FICO score. This is one of the vanity metrics that you could say, I have a 780 credit score. I am somebody. I got a 780 credit score. You know what that means? That you have the ability to get in debt. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that you're good with money. It means you paid your bills on time. That's all it means. And every time I see that question, I would like always put in, I would take the cash and I would buy something that produces a cash return and be making money. Because if you have low income, it is hard to impossible to optimize your credit score. If you have low income. Hey, I'm still waiting on that information on the guy who became a billionaire in a year. You know, it's hard to become a millionaire in a year, let alone a billionaire. Like, this is one of the things that's happening. You have a bunch of people on the internet who are saying, hey, you can become a millionaire in a year. What is the starting point? There was this one thing where this guy who was deep in debt and he started trading stocks and he made 800 and some thousand his first year. That's the dream. You're being sold a dream. I mean, it's like, well, I'm in a lot of debt. Then I can do this one thing in a year. Then I'm out of debt and I'm still spending money like a crackhead. Let's go back to me with my book sales and the wild success, because that was wildly successful. Because I had a business, I knew there's seasons that come and go. I knew that at some point it was going to end. I did not think that this money was going to keep coming in like this. It's like, well, I better be careful with this money because who knows when it's going to end, when it's going to stop. And it stopped because I figured I had 2 years, but it went on a year and a half longer than I thought it was going to go. Because every day I was ready. I was like, it's going to stop today. No, money's still coming in. Money's still coming in. See, because I had business experience, just like that time that eBay pulled the carpet from under us, closed our accounts, and held on to $32,000. That was a pucker moment. So in business, you know, anything can happen. And this is why I know having a good savings account is a buffer against the unpredictable future. Like right now, if my sales just stopped, I could live for years. I could live for years, many years, maybe a decade or two, really, with no money coming in because I stacked money during the good times. I don't have outlandish spending habits. I don't buy dumb stuff. Like one of the things I see people, they're doing this, and this is YouTube money. If you see a YouTuber who's leasing a Lambo, understand their YouTube money is paying for that. And they're using that car to get more views, because this is how Alex Becker blew up. He used a millionaire with these $1 million cars. His channel, I mean, he just walks around and he's like, I'm going to drive my cars today. Ha ha. I love this Porsche. I have 5 of these Mercedes. Stunt channels. Except Manny ain't really stunned. That's just how he lives. He lives in the mansion. He makes millions of dollars a year. He's a highly successful commercial real estate investor. And this is what people like to see. Yeah, you literally got to make over 2,400 bucks a day to make $1 million a year. That's not happening in 1 year. Jonathan Phillips, everyone loves an underdog story they can see themselves starring in. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, eBay and Amazon are closing accounts every day. Doctor Strange, the guy who sold Minecraft to Microsoft for 2 billion. Doctor Strange, I can already tell you the guy who owned Minecraft. Let's. I'm going to be willing to say he had partners. Marcus Nutch person is one of the new billionaires. The 36 years old founded. He created Minecraft. He created Minecraft in 2009. He didn't make $1 billion in 1 year. It took him 10 years and he's 36. Let's go ahead and go through this process. Or he sold the Minecraft to Microsoft for $2 billion. He became a billionaire in 1 year. Actually, that would be inaccurate. He started Minecraft in 2009. And it took him 10 years to get it to a valuation where someone would pay him $1 billion. So it took him 10 years. Like I said, let's see. Hold on. Let me go with Minecraft founders. See, did he do it by himself? Nope. Minecraft designers, Marcus Persson, Janice Bergson. So he had to split that that $2.5 billion. See, once again, without even looking, I knew there was more to the story than he just became a billionaire in 1 year. Took him 10 years, which is still really fast. It's really, really fast. And dude's almost 40. He's 36, soon to be 37. Extraordinary money. He was already a millionaire. Once again, it's a lot easier to go from a multimillionaire to a billionaire to go from scratch to a millionaire. Once again, see these stories. He became a billionaire once. You left out the part he was already rich. You left that information out. He was already rich. It's easier to get richer when you're already rich, man. The hardest journey is 0 to that first million. It is so hard. Oh, wait a minute. Francoise Bentoncourt Myers is a French billionaire Harris. So daddy started the company, which took decades to make the money, and left it to his daughter. Like, once again, as Paul Harvey used to say, what's the rest of the story? I knew that she did not go from scratch to $1 billion for 1 year. She inherited the money from her father, who started his businesses many decades ago. Let the dream go. You ain't going to become a millionaire or billionaire in 1 year from scratch. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Let the dream go. Yeah, man, I'm going to become a millionaire. Yeah, right now I'm living with 3 roommates. I can't get Big Booty Betty, so I'm with her sister, Slim Booty Susan. And, we doing all this other stuff, and we got big moves. We're going to have to come up, man. That's bullshit. Anytime, like anything you tell me of someone who became rich really quick, I guarantee you, I go to Google, I'm going to find the rest of the story. It ain't going to be what you just put in the comments. No one turns into a billionaire or a millionaire in 1 year. It's very, very hard. It's impossible to become a billionaire in 1 year. It's impossible. It's going to take the quickest I've seen is 10 years. Thank you, Alice, for the super chat. Leo Dye, this is a good question. How do you balance being realistic with believing anything is possible through the power of your subconscious mind? One of the things is anything is possible with the power of your subconscious mind. But also, when I was reading that book, I had Lead to Feel. And Lead to Feel told me, because like with me, it took me 3 years to make $1 million from scratch. Well, actually, fundamentally, I already had 300K in the bank. And this allowed me the time to create the value. It still took me 3 years. So once again, the whole goal should not be to become a millionaire or a billionaire. The goal should be to become free, where you can do what you want with your time. That's the goal. Because all these people who became millionaires and billionaires, they had full control of their time to create value, to create that money. She got that old money. Malik, she don't know that struggle to get that new money because her daddy was a sugar daddy for real. Well, here's 55 billion, my daughter. Daddy was a sugar daddy for real. Yeah, because once again, anytime you look at this, because Minecraft came out in 2009, he just sold it 10 years later. So it literally took him 10 years to become a billionaire, which is still really, really fast. Because if you look at the Forbes billionaire list, most of those cats are old. I'm like 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. And their children are young billionaires because they die and kick off and leave them that money. Thank you, Arnie Vision. 420. Everything is not corrupted by money. Everything's corrupted by greed and ego. That's the problem. It's not money. Definitely a good beast on the Google mindset. Daddy Warbucks. Extraordinary Money. Thanks for the $50 super chat. I appreciate that. Because one of the things that's going to happen is when you look at the process of money, typically every millionaire, the average time it takes a millionaire to make his first million is 11 years. And that's from the first dollar to the $1 million. It's collectively 11 years. And with the internet and the sharing of information and the power of the internet, that has been reduced greatly. Minecraft is a popular game. I can see why they paid 2.5 billion for it. But the dude was a multi-millionaire before they made him that offer. He was living well before he got that $1 billion. Because see, when you're a millionaire, you're a multimillionaire, you got 50 million, then you go to a billionaire status, your life ain't gonna change that much. You know, you might be able to buy a 50 million, $100 million mansion like Bezos and Gates and stuff like that. But if you got a net worth of 50 million and then you get $1 billion, your life ain't gonna change that much. You've already got the car you want. You're already living in the house you want. You're already living the life you want. The new billionaires list is coming out March 5th. Malik, the willingness to do anything to get money, both legal and legal, that's the root of all evil. The actual quote is the love of money is the root of all evil. So once again, you know, there's levels to this. There are many, many levels to this. And once again, I'm going to be getting deep on finances with Savage Finance. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell and all that. Because here's the thing. I was the product of a single mother home. At times I grew up in abject poverty. I think I shared this before in some older videos. We did not have indoor plumbing. We had an outhouse. You had to go through the kitchen, through off the back porch, through the garden to use the outhouse. I remember when we had a bathroom put in. This is how poor I was as a child. I remember when they put in the septic tank and dug up the ground and all this. I remember all of that. That's how poor I was. That's why I humble brag. You know, I grew up in a house with no bathroom. Now I live in a house with 5 bathrooms. That is my journey. But it took 20 years. I didn't get here overnight. And let's see, because, you know, I was living good in the storage auction era, but I wasn't making the kind of money I'm making now. Because to make value, to make money, you must create value. And everybody's trying to rent seek. Rent seeking is getting money for doing nothing. This is one of the things that's happening, like with some markets where you have these slumlords where the piece of property is trash. They're not putting any money to improve it, and they're just collecting rent without improving it and creating value. Malik, yes, get you a car you can pay cash for. Because one of the things is, and this is, you know, because that whole channel is like, I'm very excited about it because I'm working on a video today that I will probably release Sunday. Most of America is doing money wrong. This is why the money management course is so important. This is why you got to take it if you're going through B School for Hustlers or even the Hustlers Kung Fu. It's on both sites. And what I'm going to do is, you know, for new people coming into B School for Hustle, I'll probably give everyone access to it. I'll probably send out an email in the next few days. But you come into B School for, you know, Hustlers. I've changed it to, let me see, make sure the language is correct. B School for Hustlers. I'm going to add design and life. You know, I got work to do. Your financial education, how to make money. This coursework teaches you how to make money online and offline. Signing up for this will also get you H undergrad to begin your hustle. So one of the things that I've done is I want you to get into the fundamentals of making money. And you must create a product or service. You must create value. So many people are trying to get like Paul Logan, he created this website, $20 a month for financial freedom. It's BS. You want to be financially free, the first thing you got to do is establish an emergency fund. Why is an emergency fund so important? Well, let's see. You have a set sum of money coming in every month. Bam, here's an emergency that's above and beyond the money you have coming in. So now this creates a financial crisis. Like if you had a savings account of $5,000, this will cover 90% of the emergencies that will happen in your life. About 95%. Car breaking down, being sick, missing, 90% of the emergencies. $5,000 will cover most of that. But because the average American cannot come up with $2,000 cash in 30 days, any little thing that happens, like, one video on Savage Finance, I talk about this. Let's see, you go in your garage, your car doesn't start. You take your car to the mechanic. It's $1,500. You can't get the car fixed. You can't get to work. You lose your job. Then you lose your car, which is finance. You lose this happens every day. Such a simple thing as a car breaking down creates a chaotic chain of reactions for people who are not financially prepared. This is why typically if you're born poor, you're going to die poor because of the things that you inherit from your parents, because of the framework and the mindset that you inherit from your parents. Yeah, because, once again, one of the things you got to do is start setting money aside during the good times. Like right now, the sun is shining. It's not raining. So to prepare for those rainy days, you got to start setting money. Yeah, you got to have a cushion. And see, this is one of the things that got me. If I had a savings account of, probably at the time, like 5,000, I wouldn't have been homeless and I wouldn't have been in that boarding house. And this is why I recommend that you start saving $5,000 and to start, because ideally everybody would have 20 grand in an emergency fund. This would be enough money for the average person to live almost a year without working. So, and that's like catastrophe stuff right there. Because one of the things is you got to manage your money and your money's going to manage you. Whoa. Because one of the worst things that can happen, all right, so in a minute, we're going to be talking about, hold on. I've a weekend security gig for the past few years, getting paid to sit on my behind, coding, putting 450 every week. Cool. Be sure to subscribe to Savage Finance. And let's talk about how to create money, because this is one of the most important lessons you need to bring more to the market. Because see, this is one of the things. I see this all over the internet. Go ahead, free yourself from this job, work less, make more money. That is a great selling point because it appeals to people's comfort levels. Well, yeah, if I can make twice the money I'm making now and work less, heck yeah, sign me up. The reality is, the more you do, the more money you'll make. When I was in the storage auction business, I would routinely work 70, 80 hours a week for years. For years, I did this. And because I worked that many hours and I created that much value by putting items for sale on eBay, Craigslist, Amazon, I made a lot of money. Funny how the more harder I worked, the more money I made. It's funny how that worked. But right now, you have people who are selling you on a fake dream. selling you on not working that hard. Because once again, when I get access to disruptive mail, because I'm in timeout for a week, because I put up a naughty thumbnail. It was a naughty thumbnail, and they gave me a strike for putting up a thumbnail, and she wasn't naked. Bastards. Um, it's a man's core value to work. And one of the biggest issues is we have a lot of men who just don't want to work, who just want to sit around, masturbate, watch porn, and play video games. Not adding any value to the world, not creating new wealth, not doing anything, just pretty much worthless waste of skin. And a lot of men are like, hey, it's my right to sit around and be a bum, but I want big booty Betty. I want big booty Betty to put it on me because I like big booty Betty. So what? I'm a bum. So what? I'm living in my mother's basement. I'm still a man. I still got needs. Still got needs, man. Still need to unload these balls every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Just clueless. These guys are clueless. Jay Wills, I started my juice business going on 3 years ago. On my first big vending of it, I did more than $6,000 in sales. I leveraged 2 months of rent to get there, and it's worth every penny. Congratulations. We've survived the bubonic plague. We've survived all these other things. In a few months, no one's really gonna be talking about it. The coronavirus. Yeah, because see, there's this whole path of lazy human, stupid human tricks. Like, I don't want to work hard. I don't want to work, but I want the best that life has to offer. And this creates this envy toward people who are richer and better looking and taller and thinner than you. Well, there ain't nothing special about him. And even right now, there's a story of this chick who had sex with 130 men when she's only 28 years old. 130 men, and now she's reformed and she wants a quote good man. Most men hearing that she's had 130 sexual partners, contracted sexual transmitted diseases, STDs, ain't gonna want nothing to do with her. I don't, and, oh yeah, she's also fat. She's not, she used to be slim and nice looking. Now she's fat. She's got a lot of mileage on that trim, and now she's looking for a good man to wife her up. Most guys hearing that you got a body count that high, they like, I'll pass instantly. Instantly. Honey Bunny, that's good. My favorite stand I hear last year: when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I like that. That's a good saying. I like that a lot. One of the big issues is you can become wealthy, but it's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take making better decisions. And it can happen, but it ain't going to happen in a year. Because one of the things on the internet you will see is people are predicated on becoming millionaires literally overnight. And even within the FIRE movement, there's this one couple, they have like 1.8 million in stock. It took them 8 years to get there. And they were doing Airbnb, they were doing Uber driving, they were saving 70% of their income. I think at one point he was making 190. What is 70% of 190? Let's add it up. 190 minus 70%. They were putting $133,000 a year away. times 7, 133 times 7. That's almost $1 million principal right there. So their portfolio really didn't appreciate that much because they were saving 70% of their income. He made 190. So actually she worked too. So they were saving about 150 a year times 7. That's $1,050,000, and their portfolio's worth 1.8. So they put over $1 million in their portfolio, and it doubled. That's why, because they were putting so much money in there. They didn't put like $200 a month in there. They were literally putting in over $10,000 a month into their investments. Malik, you might be right. Let's talk about inflation. Like, all right, first of all, you need to get $5,000 in the emergency fund. You should keep that all the time. Inflation is 2%. So let's go ahead and do the math on that. $5,000 in the bank, because I got something that I'm gonna talk about, minus 2.5%. So if you have $5,000 in the bank and you leave it in the bank for 1 year, you lose $125 a year. So let's talk about this. When one of the reasons I have a robust savings account is I still have this money that I made from my storage auction book sales. Now, due to inflation, I've lost spending power. Psych, no, I didn't. This is one of the things. When you save money, you want to continue to put money away. Because there's a guy who's doing this video talking about why savers are losers and stuff. I'm going to vigorously disagree with, because if you save money and you continue to put money away, you're hedging against, your hedge against inflation is to make more money. Like in the Savage Finance video, I talk about how I, bought my X5 and how it was, when it was new, it was $109,000, and it's 8 years old and it's lost, because I could sell it for about 27 to 32, depending upon the market. Since it has low miles, I can probably get more for it. It has all the options and stuff. And essentially I lost $80,000 in value. Or did I? Because while I had this vehicle in my garage that was depreciating, over here, I had a course that made $500,000. So we take that $80,000 depreciation hit, and I'm still $420,000 ahead. So your goal with putting money away and saving money, not investing money, is to make more money. The answer is always to make more money. Manage your money well, or your money's going to manage you. So if you're putting money in the bank and you're saving it and you're adding more money, that's your hedge against inflation, because you don't have a set sum of money there financially depreciating. Because you still have, because let's say you take $5,000 and leave it in the bank for 10 years. Due to inflation, you're going to lose $1,000, but you still got your $5,000 to spend. I guarantee you $5,000 in 10 years is still going to be a substantial amount of money. Thanks, Trav, for the $20 super chat. The Food and Drug Administration has contributed to the low production of testosterone in most men. The hormonal imbalances cause a loss of the desire and drive to compete or do anything. That could be the case because the average T level of men today is lower than of men 30 years ago. Because this is why you want to slide up into big booty Betty because your hormones are raging, or they should be. But once again, it's about creating value. It's about managing your money because once again, everybody needs a budget. Even millionaires need a budget. Let you know you got 50 million. You know, if you got 50 million, let's say you got 50 million, right? Plus 5%. If you got 50 million invested and you get a return of 5%, that's $2.5 million per year. Minus 15%. So you got, and you would pay minus 15%. You would pay $166,000 off that 2 million. So 2.5 million minus 166 leaves you 202,334,000 to spend. Divided by 12, it's 194,000 a month. At that point, you could be blowing money fast like Big Meech. Goodbye, General Lee. You're just a jackass. We ain't even talking about race or politics. We're talking about money. Because, see, this is why you want to optimize your money to the best of your ability. When you optimize your money, you get more out of your money. Like, here's the perfect scenario. You don't have car payments, you don't have credit card payments, and you have a low mortgage. You don't have a mortgage that you're struggling to pay. That's not optimizing your money. You want a mortgage that you can easily pay. And the ideal situation is after you pay all your bills, you have $2,000 to $3,000 a month left over. That's optimized money because at that level, you have plenty of disposable income to start a business, to invest, to get into real estate. $2,500 to $3,000 a month. If you just say that for a year, you're going to have $30,000 to $36,000. That's some serious capital that open many financial doors for you. That will open up many financial doors for you. That will create so many opportunities for you because essentially you want to get to the point where you have surplus capital. And most of America is living hand to mouth. Most America has a financial emergency every month. How are we going to pay the mortgage? How are we going to pay rent? Oh man, it's almost the first of the month, and I got to pay all these bills, and I'm $500 short. A lot of people are living in perpetual panic. A lot of people have these issues because they don't have any money saved and they don't know how to create money. So what I'm going to do, let's just go ahead and all right. So we're going to put, I'm doing B School for Hustlers. Because you now, when you go for B School for Hustlers, you'll get H undergrad as well as the B School curriculum, which is coming. I feel like I fixed my car to get to work to make money to fix my car to get to work to make money to fix my car. Wow. That is a wicked, wicked cycle, Fajita. Fighting over a chicken sandwich. You know, there are some people in this world who will kill you for $10. They will literally take your life for $10. Sad but true. But once again, you know, there's so many levels to this. There's things that you have to do to level up. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to buy an online course like these real estate courses. Here's the thing with real estate, you're going to need money and credit to become a successful real estate investor, because this is the aim of all these courses, is to get rid of the money and credit aspect. If you've got money and good credit, you can get in the real estate game. It's just that simple. But once again, you got people out here like there's this Airbnb arbitrage where you go out and you rent someone's apartment and say, hey, I want to use it as an Airbnb. Most landlords are going to say no. You know why? Because if they were going to Airbnb it, they'd do it themselves and make that money versus renting it to you. So I don't see that as being easy, because you're probably going to have to talk to probably 30 to 50 landlords to get one property. And when you start doing the math on that you're going to have to talk to 500, 600, 700 landlords to get a few properties. And then Airbnb is being encroached upon by many cities. Like certain cities, you can't rent a property unless you own it. So it's getting to be real interesting. Good Lord, Fajita. Clutch. Funny how the average person never has a financial emergency on how to pay for buying drinks, going to the club, or tricking on Big Booty Betty. That is funny. And me, never have house, never had mortgage paid cash. Congratulations. That's the move. Because I want you to think about, if you didn't have a car payment, you didn't have credit card bills, and you didn't have a rent or mortgage, you could work at McDonald's and ball out. You could work a job that doesn't really stress you out and live quite well. But once again, you know, because essentially going through the B School for Hustlers and H undergrad curriculum will give you all of the information that you need to begin building a better life. And the first course you need to go through and implement is the money management course. You need to start segmenting your money. You need to establish your checking accounts. This is the first thing you need to do, because if you have bad financial habits, you manage your money's gonna manage you. And most people, their money's managing them. It's managing their expectation, it's managing their dating choices, it's managing what kind of car they're gonna drive, it's managing where they live, aka the hood, because they're not managing their money well. No, I have not bought Erica's real estate course. But many of these courses are trying to teach you how to get around having good credit or having money. And all the people, the real estate investors I know, the successful real estate investors I know, had good credit and money get before they got in the game. One guy I know, he's been paying cash for all his properties because he makes $3 million a year. He's been making millions of dollars a year for many years. Probably in his career, he's made 30, 40 million from his job. And he's bought several properties. At one point, he had like 4 properties. And I think when they all sold, he pocketed 6 or 7 million. But he had the money to buy the properties. He had the income to maintain the properties without taking on loans. Passive wealth investments. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Blind and Buddha. Well, I don't have a mortgage right now. I am using this house for my business, and the business pays for it, so it's a tax deduction. The coronavirus has a lower fertility rate than SARS and the annual flu. I'm still hesitant about the hype. Got my first home at 26 and want to pay it off ASAP, 5 or less. Well, once again, take what you owe on your home, because the average person could pay their home off in 10 to 12 years if they just did the math. Because the average home is like 200K. So if you just accelerated your payments, and this is one of the things you should do, you should write out your regular mortgage payment, and then you should send in another check and write in the check, apply to principal only. Because see, if you don't give them those directions, they're just going to apply it and they're going to take interest out of it. So you pay your first mortgage, then you write another check, probably in the middle of the month, and say this is to be applied to principal only. And I mean, an additional $200 to $500 a month will take 10 to 15 years off your mortgage, done consistently. All right, Black Caesar. Because, once again, a lot of Uber drivers who are buying new cars for Uber, they got the wrong car. Ideally, if you're going to buy a car for Uber, you would get a car 2 to 3 years old. You would take the depreciation hit, and you'll be able to buy it cheaper, and you have a lower car payment. Well, once again, the coronavirus is interesting, but I say give it 3 months and no one's going to be talking about it. No one's going to be talking about it. We've survived the bubonic plague, the black plague, all of these things that literally wiped out half of Europe. We survived that. So with that, all right. So let's just put this in here. B school hustlers. Now you're going to get the H undergrad curriculum as well. And also be sure to subscribe to Savage Finance, because I'm going deep on this. And one of the things I'm doing is addressing foundational issues, because this is where people need help. You got to get the foundational, fundamental stuff out the way. Like, the whole thing. I got a video on there, how you should buy your first car. And I'm going to get into a lot of stuff before we get into investing, because essentially many people have student loans, car payments, credit card debt, some kind of debt, and then they want to be, quote, investors. You're hustling backwards. Your money's segmented. And even though you're investing, because you have these high interest rates, you're still behind. You want to get rid of that debt so your investments interest can accumulate and you can stack and you can grow wealth. It's hard to grow wealth when your investments are making you 5 or 6%, but your credit card interest rates are 17, 18, 19, 20%. Do the math. Even though you're gaining 6%, because you're paying 13%, 16% on your credit card, you're still 10% behind. Your money isn't growing. You're still behind. And this is one of the hardest things, because people are like, yeah, I want to invest in this. You shouldn't even be investing in your 401k until you get out of debt, because the money that you're using to invest in your 401k could be going towards getting rid of your debt, where you would instantly stop having to pay this 16, 18, 19, 20. I mean, someone emailed me, they had a car note with 25% interest rate. 25%. I was like, their credit was tore up from the floor up. I don't know, man. It's very interesting. But that's all I got for you today. Be sure to, if you need help starting your business, be sure to enroll in B School for Hustlers. You now get Hustlers H undergrad as well. And also be sure to subscribe to Savage Finance, because I'm going to give you financial lessons over there on the regular. So with that, I'll see you guys later.